Indonesian police have detained 28 young men who are suspected of selling sex to female tourists. Officers picked up the men, known as beach boys or cowboys, in Bali. The island's tourism board chief says the men have been fixtures on the beaches for some time, but that they hadn't attracted much attention up until now. Well, so why now exactly? Well, the detentions come after the release of a documentary called Cowboys in Paradise. The film, by a Singapore-based director, looks at the lives and the loves of the alleged gigolos. Here's a clip.
I'm 50 years old, okay? I've tried to understand women. I've not understood even a percentage of that. And these little on the beach, sorry for the language, they seem to connect to these women. And the women connect to them so instantly.
They're very safe. I think probably for a lot of the women that come here, what they're feeling is these people feel safe to them. And they love to have fun. You know, they'll get out and sing and dance and joke, and they'll include you in everything.
Well, the film has outraged Indonesian authorities. The film's director, Amit Vermani, joins us now from Singapore to talk about the firestorm surrounding his film. Amit, it's great to have you with us. Now, undeniable that your film has attracted a lot of attention. Is this the sort of response that you'd expected?
No, not at all. I don't think anybody expected this level of outrage. It's not a subject that was unknown to people. It's been widely written about. Tourists have known about it. And we've even been getting messages from Indonesians saying that, you know, this is not something new. So we are rather surprised by the reaction in Bali.
What about this news that multiple arrests have now been made because of your film? Was that something that you ever saw coming?
No, I didn't. I was absolutely stunned and obviously disheartened. It's certainly not the point of the film. We never suggested that the cowboys are criminals that need to be rounded up and cleaned up from the beaches. And news that, you know, they're just being persecuted for being muscular or tanned is absolutely ridiculous and regrettable.
So what was your intention then with this documentary?
Well, in large part to avoid misconceptions such as these. Generally, people just equate beach boys with cowboys with gigolos. I mean, that's the standard equation. And I think what the film does and what we've tried to do is add depth to them. We certainly distinguish between the beach boys and gigolos. These could be people with regular jobs like surf instructors or tour guides or even tattoo artists. And, you know, we added more depth and dimension to these characters. We made it very clear. And as you can see in the trailer, tourists enjoy their company. These guys make the beach a friendlier place, a more colorful place. I certainly think the beach would be duller if you took the cowboys off from them.
Yeah, it's true. They are sort of, you know, amusing guys to have around when you're wandering the shores of Kuta. But before we get back onto the response, I just want to talk about the movie itself, because you spoke to one kid, and he was only 12, I think, and his dream was to be eventually selling sex, particularly to Japanese female tourists. I mean, you can't imagine little girls in other parts of the world saying, yeah, I'm dying to be a prostitute. You know, what makes this something that's, you know, that's kind of dignified in a way? They do have this pride.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the Beach Boys or the Cowboys are fascinating people, and that was one of the appeals of the subject for me as a filmmaker. What does it take for a 12-year-old boy to look up to these guys, you know, almost as if they were superheroes? And I think part of the reason is because they're always with smiles on the beach, they're having fun, they're not ashamed of what they're doing. They shouldn't be ashamed of what they're doing. A lot of times what happens between them and the tourists is what happens between consenting adults.
Now, you've received a fair amount of hate mail from this as well, Amit. What are some of the things that people have been saying?
I'm sorry,
I was just asking about the hate mail that you've received on the back of this documentary and what the people have been saying to you. I mean, why are they so angry?
Well, a large part of it has to do with, you know, people just making up their minds about the film before seeing it. There's a lot of misperception out there. I suppose a lot of them think that it's anti-Bali or anti-Indonesia, which it isn't. But I would just like to add that hate mail thing is dying out. It's not really a pressing concern. My main worry right now is for the safety of the people in the film. And I really hope that, the people who were nice enough to share their stories with me are not persecuted by the Bali officials because they're in the film.
Well, there's now also some talk that you filmed there without having the requisite permissions, and that when you go back to Bali, if you do, that you may be prosecuted yourself. Are you worried?
Well, I'm not sure what will happen if I do go back to Bali, but I would like to say that I did get several, permits along the way. I paid fees to several officials at the different locations that I was in, and I thought I was covered. So I'm really not sure what that's about.
Well, Amit, we certainly appreciate your time today on the show. Thanks very much indeed. It's a fascinating project that you've done. Amit Vermana there speaking to us from Singapore.